Catch with Officer Dawn and Ray, the DA. Pay attention, crime fighters. A lot has happened this week. The legislature is back in session, and Steve Nunn and Steve Ragland are back in the news. Join us next week.
And that has been, the House of Representatives has passed that for a number of sessions, but the Senate has not passed that. So we'll see how that works. And of course, there's the criminal defense attorneys now are trying to pass a law to be able to expunge felony convictions. And I think the idea there is they try to say that, you know, if somebody's got a felony conviction, then it's very difficult for them to get a job. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason for that. Mm-hmm. And the reason is that employers don't want to undertake a potential liability of hiring somebody with a felony and that person absolutely go bonkers and get violent on the job. So, you know, there's a reason for employers not being too interested.
They're not interested in expunging felony convictions? You don't know.
Employers?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that...
I figured that they would want... I mean, there's got to be a lobby that wants them expunged too, because...
Yeah, those are the criminals.
Well, then they can say, well, we didn't know, but now, you know, if there's any way of knowing about the felony, then you can be held liable for it.
Well, maybe.
My guess is there's people that are thinking, well, okay, if they get expunged, then we have no liability.
I don't know whether they do or they don't. Then there's, once again, there's a constitutional amendment. The request has been filed to automatically restore the voting rights to felons. So that's that. You know, some of these states, for example, New Hampshire, they got a voting precinct right there in prison.
Yeah.
And so the question is, who do you want voting for people who write our laws? That's the question for me. I don't want people who don't obey the law being able to participate in having people write the laws. We got enough criminal defense lawyers in the legislature as it is. So I'm concerned about that.
It'll all pass.
You think?
Probably.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Just saying, I like to be a pessimist, but, you know.
You're not a pessimist, you're a realist.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm the pessimist. Yeah. Steve Nunn is back in the news. He doesn't want the mother of Amanda Ross, the woman that he shot down and killed and then ran like a coward. Doesn't want the mother to be able to collect that judgment she got against him for the death of Amanda Ross. And it's very interesting. You know, there's I think a $24 million judgment against Nunn, wrongful death judgment in court. And she's doing what she can to collect it and make him understand what he's done. Steve Nunn got a job in prison. They give him a job. They paying him 99 cents an hour. And so she has garnished his wages in prison. She gets 40% of every 99-cent hourly rate that he makes. And he has filed some sort of a motion for a protective order to prevent her from garnishing his job. And then I think there's something about he doesn't want her to be able to touch his pension that he gets having served in the legislature for all of that time.
Yeah, he doesn't lose his pension automatically, even though he's been convicted of
Murder.
Yeah.
And is serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. So that's in the mix here, and that's kind of interesting, and we'll be able to keep up with that. And of course, Shane Ragland is back in the news again, and he's He's, you know, I got a copy of the E-warrant. There's some woman with whom he has been living since he was in a car crash, or a vehicle crash in Louisville. And they keep talking about the fact in this complaint that he's in a wheelchair, one of those 3,000-pound wheelchairs. So I don't know for a fact if the guy is. The crash happened maybe early this year, early in 2013.
It seems like it's been in the past year to year and a half. Maybe.
And if he's still in a wheelchair, that means he must have some sort of major residual problem. But at any rate, he's charged with biting her and hitting her, putting her in a headlock, and trying to run over her with the wheelchair and that kind of stuff. There's a hearing on this. It was scheduled for the 6th of January, been continued to the 16th of January, and so I'll be anxious to follow that. This guy that cannot seemingly stay out of trouble.
He can't, and if you follow his his career here in crime, it truly is. It is amazing. You talk about felony convictions being expunged, something they're looking at right now. One of the things that is so concerning about that is you and I both know it takes a lot before you're convicted of a felony. I mean, most people who commit a felony, unless it's murder or rape, at some point in the process, their first time, it winds up being a misdemeanor. Those things get dealt down, or ultimately that's where it winds up. So for you to actually have a felony conviction, it's normally something that deserves to be there. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah.
And so now, on top of the difficulty in even getting a conviction for a felony, when you look at the whole process and all the protections that are in place for defendants, which that's fine, they should be there. Now, even after you get convicted, they're saying, we'll still let it go. And that's what's sort of crazy about it. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, we'll keep all